Good morning, I'm Jackie Porosani. I'm the Director of Entrepreneurship Program at Marietta College. Welcome to the inaugural session of Mid-Ohio Valley Entrepreneurship Expo. Thanks for joining us. And this is just the beginning, so we hope that we can make it bigger and better every year. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. William Rue.
Thank you, Jackie, and let's give Jackie and all the folks in the planning group a big hand for putting this together. Thanks, Jackie. In June of 2014, Marietta College received a grant from the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation to develop and expand our entrepreneurship programs on campus. Arthur Vining Davis was the gentleman who founded a little company called Alcoa, and then after he made aluminum, apparently he discovered that aluminum fans and air conditioners were easier and cheaper to run than metal, and he decided that it would be a big market in Florida, so he bought 125,000 acres of land in Florida. And all of his success is now housed in the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation. More importantly for Marietta, the president and CEO of the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation is Nancy Cable, who's a Marietta College alum. So there's a partnership all the way through. Since that time, we've implemented a dynamic series of programs that provide new opportunities for students to engage in entrepreneurial thinking and harness the expertise and passion of alumni and the members of the local business community to advance and strengthen the ecosystem for entrepreneurs in the Mid-Ohio Valley. We often forget in growing and economic development, we think we should bring in from the outside. But all too often, the strength in growing and in economic development is the strength that we have already here on the inside. Having a conference like this at Marietta College seems very logical when you think about all the entrepreneurs who are educated here. People like Rich Galen, who started his career at local radio station WMOA and later became the press secretary for Vice President Dan Quayle and Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich. He took that experience and turned himself into one of the top Republican strategist that appears regularly on CNN, Fox, ABC, and MSNBC. Jan Dills, I'm sure you see her on TV, who's based out of nearby Parkersburg, but runs one of the biggest law firms in the state of West Virginia. And a new entrepreneur like Jim Aller, who has recently started his own gourmet popcorn business. The college has embraced entrepreneurship over the past 2 years by starting programs like Pio Pitch and Pio Biz, which are geared toward connecting local entrepreneurs with each other and the college and the Mid-Ohio Valley community, as well as offering a forum for entrepreneurial students to develop an idea and get support from faculty and community members. Because of the strong support and interest by our students, Marietta College made a smart decision and added a new minor program in entrepreneurship. It is designed to expose students of all majors to the mindset and behavior of successful entrepreneurs. There's a lot of excitement surrounding it, mainly because our students are interested in being a part of it. We currently have 10 upperclassmen who have added this as a minor. Without funding, none of this would have been possible. The $200,000 grant we received from the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation really helped us start the entrepreneurship program. And because of the growth we have experienced in this area, we hopefully plan on additional grant support from a variety of foundations in the future. If you're looking for a way to connect our contemporary liberal arts at Marietta College to entrepreneurship, look no further than things like full of determination, not afraid to take a risk, high level of confidence, craves learning, understands failure as part of the game, passionate about his or her business, highly adaptable, good understanding of money management, expert at networking, ability to sell and promote not only themselves, but what they're thinking about and what their passion is. So welcome to the inaugural Mid-Ohio Valley Entrepreneurship Expo. Marietta College, along with 18 other local organizations listed in your program, has been planning this conference now for nearly a year. The conference reinforces the Mid-Ohio Valley's desire to foster economic growth through entrepreneurial enterprises and innovative mindsets in order to make the Mid-Ohio Valley a better place to go to school, to live, to learn, and to work. The objectives of this conference are simple. Bring together aspiring and current entrepreneurs of all ages, educational levels, and industries for networking and benchmarking. Provide resources, tools, and inspiration for aspiring and current entrepreneurs. Promote what the Mid-Ohio Valley offers entrepreneurs and small business, and instill an entrepreneurial spirit and underscore the value of this spirit to our students and our community. So we're very, very excited having all of you here. We want you to engage all day long today. And having said that, I invite Jackie up here to help me give a little token of our appreciation to our sponsors. In addition to the Arthur Vining Davis Foundation, our platinum sponsor, Perry & Associates CPAs. Would a rep from Perry please come up? There she is, over there. Hiding in the back. Our gold sponsor, Huntington Bank. Someone from Huntington Bank. Thank you, guys. And our three silver sponsors, the Bernard McDonough Foundation, Tech Growth Ohio at Ohio University's Voinovich School of Leadership and Public Affairs, and the Ohio University Innovation Center. Would representatives from those three organizations please step up? Once again, a big round of applause for all of our sponsors.
Thank you so much. Just a quick thing. Jen Simon here. Can you tell us who you are and a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I'm Jen Simon, and I am the director currently of the Ohio University Innovation Center. And we are currently working on building out a regional network of hubs in order to support entrepreneurial activity around people who are building products. People are making things, people who use their hands, have used their hands for years to work in our coal mines, to work in our coal-fired power plants, to work in our manufacturing facilities. And so we are going to be at the booth. The Innovation Center booth is back there, and I would appreciate talking with each and every one of you about that. I know there are efforts underway, and I'm a part of those efforts in order to develop a makerspace/incubator in Marietta, and I, again, welcome any conversation with any of you to talk about what we can all accomplish together. Thank you, Jackie.
And our platinum sponsor has a little bit of an announcement, maybe?
Good morning, everyone. We have the privilege of being the platinum sponsor and are honored to get to announce the first Entrepreneur of the Year award after lunch today. So stay tuned.
So don't miss. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. This conference really started with a vision from no other person but Phyllis Hughes. Phyllis, thank you so much. Thank you. And Phyllis is the Director of Career Services at Marietta College. She had a vision, and she shared the vision, and I don't know where my other angel is. Mary Beth? Hey, Mary Beth. You're hiding back there. Mary Beth Salim Tanner, the Director of Civic Engagement at Marietta College. Thanks so much. Thank you. So, and then two of them reached out to community. They reached out to other, they knew that something like this, for it to happen and to be successful, he needed collaboration and cooperation from different institutions, organizations in the community. And some of, you've seen probably their logos on our slideshow, and the name of all those community organizations that were involved in planning for this conference is in your program. But I would like to quickly acknowledge everybody. Oh, I know someone is here for Buckeye Hills, Hocking Valley Regional Development District. Who are you?
Good morning, everybody. Brett Hoffman, Development Director here at Buckeye Hills. We're a regional organization that supports local governments and local communities with problem solutions. So look forward to speaking with you today. And Jackie, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Tanya Davis. I'm the Building Bridges to Careers Coordinator, and we work with K through 12 students to bridge the gap between education and employment. And we have students who already have an entrepreneurial spirit, and so we wanted to partner so that we can help foster that. So thank you for having us. And Tasha is at the front door. That's why she's not here.
Okay. Okay.
I've actually have two hats, as she said. I am Christopher Burke. I am a marketing and media manager. I am a freelance person, and I represent First Neighborhood Bank, local banks here with offices in Parkersburg, South Parkersburg, and Spencer.
David Williams. I'm here with my wife Gloria, who's president of our company, and we are a consulting company and love working with the Entrepreneurship Expo. It's been great. We're glad to be here.
I'm Pamela Langford with the Small Business Development Center, which is a program of the Small Business Administration to provide all kinds of assistance to those thinking about starting a business, everything from startup issues, doing your business plan, finding sources of capital, and we also work with existing businesses as they are growing their business.
I'm Stacy DeSico. I'm the Community Impact Coordinator with United Way Alliance of the Mid-Ohio Valley. We cover 8 counties in West Virginia, and we cover part of Washington County and Athens County. So we're happy to be here today and participate.
Good morning, Tony Hoffman, Director, Adult Tech at Washington County Career Center. We were happy to be a member of the planning committee for this event. We offer the 1-year certificate. We're one of the 3 post-secondary training schools here in the Mid-Ohio Valley. And one of the things that we specialize in addition to the 1-year certificate, is customized training. So in addition to being a part of the planning committee, we also have a vendor table here today, and we can help your small business with several areas in whatever you need in terms of customized training.
Good morning, I'm Brenda Miller. I'm a Dean at Washington State Community College, and we're happy to be here today. We have a business management program. As part of that, we have a small business entrepreneurship class, and as Tony said, we also have workforce development, so if you've got any training needs, Excel, leadership, communication, any of those type of needs, certainly let us know. Thank you.
Before I turn this to Dr. Gama to introduce our first kickoff speaker of the day, I would like to thank you, my third angel on the campus of Marietta College, Ms. Robin Stewart. Robin is in charge of finding us gifts and grants. And she did a wonderful job. And last but not least, Ms. Lori McCain. Thank you so much. Lori is the Director of Auxiliary Services. She put all this. This was her plan. This is going to be here, that's going to be there, that's going to be there. So this is all her. Thanks so much, Lori. Dr. Gama Perucci, please introduce our first speaker. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jackie. Again, my name is Gama Perucci. I'm the Dean of the McDonough Center for Leadership in Business at Marietta. And I guess for having the name of McDonough, then I became associated with the foundation. Actually, the foundation is the one that gave us the big gift to start the center. But Jackie thanked everyone who helped implement this, but I think we also need to take the time to also acknowledge all the work that she has done. So. It is a distinct honor to introduce our first keynote speaker, and it is personal because Seth was one of my first students in Marietta College. He arrived very little as a freshman and has grown quite a bit since then, but he arrived in the year 2000, and I had arrived the year before, and as one of my first students, I quickly saw that he had this passion to not only lead organizations, but to create organizations, to innovate, to reach new grounds. On page 10 of your program, you have his bio, which includes a lot of what his spirit of innovation, so I'm not going to go over that. But just very quickly, a little bit about his background is that he graduated in 2004 with a management marketing and major with a certificate in leadership. But he went on to do great things, including receiving in 2012 the award Rising Star of Innovation and Entrepreneurship from the state of Missouri and Missouri Small Business Technology Development Centers. Then in 2014, he published a book and entitled The Organic Entrepreneur Economy, which he will be talking about later as one of the first concurrent sessions. So again, it's a great honor and pride to see for professors that this is really a wonderful experience to be able to introduce your students as success stories. So Seth.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I've got to be honest with you. The first time, my freshman year, I actually forgot about my first presentation in Dr. Perucci's class, and I showed up an hour late, and I showed up in street clothes. So ever since then, when I give presentations in front of Perucci, I always get really nervous. So if I get a little nervous and jittery up here, that's why. It's his fault. So with that, I'm going to be true entrepreneur and move this out of the way. Also, if I fall off the stage, I'm going to jump right back up, so don't worry about that. I'll be good. So with that, the first thing that I want to know is how many people here are entrepreneurs? Perfect. And how many here are supporting entrepreneurs? And how many here people want to start an entrepreneurial business? Sweet. Okay. Awesome. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that in entrepreneurship, I'm a big believer that entrepreneurship is triggered, it isn't actually built. And that is a big thing that I realized early on in my career. Interesting thing about entrepreneurship is it is so complex. There are so many things going on. It's infinitely hard to figure out what to do and how to build. The big thing with that is, when you look at this sort of things, as an entrepreneur, it's almost impossible to know what to grow, how to do it, and what to do first. What I figured out is there's something that's a key component of this. There's one thing you can do that will change everything else. Before I get into that, though, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background. Again, it was very nice to talk about my successes. I'm going to talk to you the reason why I figured this out. When I first graduated college, I started a racing business. We put GPS systems in our auto racing cars and broadcast them back to the internet to have a great kind of presentation for spectators. It was going great. We were on our way to be a $20 million company. And then in 2008, the market crash happened. We had just taken on about $2 million of investment capital. And we went from having a market cap of $20 million to 3 days later being bankrupt. So that was like a rude awakening to how entrepreneurship can really work. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, how did that just happen? So I do what every entrepreneur does. I hit the bar. I figured out exactly what happened and how to like recoup, bring myself back together. Invited an entrepreneur who had just had an exit as well, and I said, let's talk, just help me understand what just happened. I picked the wrong guy. The guy had just had an exit, but he had just had a multi-million-dollar exit, so now I had the guy that I definitely did not want to be talking to in front of me. But the one thing I realized from him was I figured that he had a systematic way to succeed. Every 4 to 6 years, he had a winning solution. And I was like, how the heck did he do it? And what he told me was he has a systematic way of starting and growing businesses. But more importantly, what he told me was the fact that people are the way that he looks at it. He understands people, and it's his way to achieve success. So what I said is like, what is this success for me, and how do I do it? So I did the thing that any logical entrepreneur would do. I started 5 businesses at the same time to figure it out. Like, not a great idea, but at that time, it totally made sense. So what I did is I started these businesses trying to figure out what happened. And interestingly, I found out what the entrepreneur told me, which was that when you start to go looking into it, the strategies, the business concepts, the things you're doing, they start to seem very much the same. And because of that, the core piece of that is people. I realized that if you understand people and you know how to motivate people, you can succeed on almost anything. And the people component is far more important than everything else. So with that, I realized two main key kind of takeaways. The first thing is that everybody knows what they want, but almost nobody knows how to get there. So you have lots of people who know what these things they want. They want $1 million, they want to have an awesome house, they want a awesome car, but no one knows really how to get to that point. So they just kind of wildly struggle around. So that's a key thing that people want. The next thing is that everybody wants trust. Nobody's willing to work with anybody unless they have trust. People say it's a long-term relationship, takes lots of things, and that's simply not true. So what I found out is that people need trust and they know where they need to go. So we need to figure out how to orchestrate it to be able to have these things very rapidly. The next thing that I basically realized is there's some tools that we can use that basically there's some social people tools that help me figure out how to rapidly get these things done so I can produce outcomes. The first is rapport. So rapport is basically when you feel a connection with people. People basically feel a connection with each other when you like each other, when you feel the same things, when you have the same ailments. So the big thing with rapport is you have to figure out what their background is, to figure out what they're after, to figure out where they're going. So that's a big thing that we have to do with rapport. Rapport requires understanding their experiences so you can have similar experiences or you can share similar experiences. Next is perception. Perception is how people view the world. Everybody's perception will be completely different. And if you know this, every entrepreneur generally figures this out, that perception is fact. The real facts of life doesn't really matter. It's what people perceive the facts to be. So that's a critical important thing. How about the perception is? The other thing about perception, our perception is what we consider to be safe and beneficial. Safe is basically whether it makes good sense to do something, and benefit is how much benefit will I get out of it. Based off these two things, we can pretty much judge people's actions. The more safe it is, the more benefit is, the more people are willing to do it. So what we must do is we must have a positive perception when we pitch something. Next is context. So context essentially is, do people have enough information to understand what's being talked about? The interesting thing about context is when I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, as mentors, we tell entrepreneurs what to do. We give them great advice. Lots of mentors give great advice. And then the entrepreneurs do the funniest thing. They do the complete opposite. And they come back and say, I did it. And we're like, no, you totally didn't. And the reason why that is because entrepreneurs don't have the information to essentially understand what it is you're trying to convey. So there's a major piece missing there. And in context, another analogy would be, imagine asking for directions because you're lost and getting them back in a foreign language. Because you don't have the context of that foreign language, it's basically useless to you. The cool thing about context is the fact that people learn through experiences. Our whole lives are built off experiences. Who we are, what we do, how we work, all based off the experiences we go through. So experiences are things that trigger people to start taking action. Ever noticed that when you have an experience, you start to see things differently and you start to change how you think, how you act, and how you behave. Experiences happen generally through actions or interactions and activities or through questions, posing the right questions at the right times. The last thing is free will. And whenever I bring this up, people start thinking I'm trying to brainwash people, and that's not true at all. What I'm just trying to do is I'm trying to establish the fact that if you try to tell people what to do, they're going to do the opposite. If anybody has kids and they've ever tried to tell their kid what to do, they're always going to do the opposite. The reason is because as soon as you start telling people something, they don't feel like they're in control anymore and they want to go move away. So when a lot of people pitch, they say, this is what you should do. This is what happens. And at that point, people are going to start to think the opposite. So when you do that, just understand they're going to do the opposite of whatever you say. So then tell them the opposite of what you want them to do, and perhaps that'll work. But really, the reality with free will is that people must feel they're in control. So here's an action plan. Let's use kind of these tools, and I'll start showing how we can systematically start having the results that we want. So essentially, we're going to do three things. We're going to do desire, we're going to do what they believe, and we're going to do the execution. This is kind of, think of this as like when you go into a conversation, meet with people, these are the things that you can kind of start reacting with people and using as a reference. And to kind of use this as a case study, I'm going to use entrepreneurship in Kansas City. About 10 years ago, we started working in Kansas City to develop entrepreneurship, develop different businesses and to build dozens of new businesses every month to try to trigger the community, pull in investors and everything like that. So I'm going to use that as a case study to show like how we have a specific person in a city in Kansas City start to work with us. So I'm going to use this as an example as we work through this. So the first one is, first thing we need to do is set a goal. First thing with a goal is figure out where you want to go. If you just try this kind of methodology with people in the community but you don't know where you're going, you're just going to get in a weird spot. So the first thing is to figure out why you want to do this. Do you want to crowd people into your chamber of commerce? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to pull people into membership? Do you want to have more customers? Figure out what your goal is, where you're trying to get to, and that way you can lead people where you want to go. The first thing is desire. Figure out what they desire. Ask them the questions as far as what do they want? Where do they go? What do they consider success? The reason why you want to do this is we want to start to figure out what their perceptions are. So in the case of the entrepreneurship sort of thing, we asked them, like, where are you going? What do you want to achieve? They said, we really want to build entrepreneurship. We really want to find a way to create success and start having more people build in our cities. And so we really want to have this sort of thing, but at the same time, we really don't know how it is. And we're like, that's fine. Like, as entrepreneurs, half the time we don't know what's going on. We just act like we do. And so for that sort of reason, it's much understandable. For that reason, we started having rapport with each other. We started having the fact that they started trusting us very rapidly, within 10 minutes of the conversation. Next, we want to understand what they believe. What do they believe to be true? How did they get to that point in their lives? What's the context that they have? What's the context gaps? And what's the experiences they had that built them up to this point? And by understanding these experiences, we can start to understand where their mindset's at. How do they see the world, and what do they consider important? Based off that kind of information, we can then start to give an idea of where we need to lead them to. So in the Kansas City case, what we asked them is like, where are you going? What do you want to build? They said, we really want to build entrepreneurship. We really believe it's possible to build all these different things. Everybody is telling us to. We also believe that if we don't do it, we're going to get fired. And so there's a motivator. Most importantly, they said that we've done the same thing for the last 30 years and it's always worked, and now it doesn't, and that's never involved around entrepreneurship. So we're kind of stuck in this point. So at this point, what you will have to figure out is, can you ask a question, or can you create an experience that'll help trigger them to believe that it's going to be true and to become your customer? For us, the goal was